am David Young. I am your host and founder of Drone Launch Academy. Hello there, welcome to the Davey Gravy YouTube channel. My name is David Young. Some people call me Davey Gravy. Welcome to the channel. I want to tell you a few things that you are going to learn or see here around the channel. So my name is David Young. I founded a company called Drone Launch Academy. We do online courses about drones. And that company has done about, as of today, almost $5 million worth of online course sales. And I'm here to share my experiences with you, lessons I've learned, ways that have helped me grow, what's worked, what hasn't worked, right? So I'm gonna do reviews. I'm gonna do videos teaching you how to build your own online course business if you want. And one thing I've specialized in is learning how to monetize other people's knowledge, not just my own. Because a lot of people say, teach what you know and monetize the skills that you're good at. And that's great if you can do that, if you have skills. But there are a lot of people out there who say, I'm not an expert in this area, or I have an interest here, or I like this topic matter, but I don't know about these specific things. And so what I've learned to do is to work with other people and how to build those relationships and contract with other people, from everything from revenue sharing all the way down to just hiring them as a contractor to appear in your videos. And with that strategy, we worked with over a dozen different instructors in the drone industry to build a business that has done about $5 million in revenue. So I'm here to share a lot of lessons that I've learned on how I've built that, in case that's something that you're interested in doing too, whether you're just in the online course space monetizing your own skills and looking to build a business with some passive income, teaching things that you know, or you want to build a school in a specific topic area and work with other instructors. Hopefully I can give you some good, helpful content. All right, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name was David Young. I live down here in sunny Florida. I'm in Lakeland, Florida, about an hour and 20 minutes from our favorite beach, Anna Maria Island. I'm actually headed there in a few weeks, but I used to live in Washington, D.C. Before I started Drone Launch Academy, my company now that teaches about drones, I used to be a forensic accountant for the FBI. So that's a bit of a big shift in career path and what I was doing. But I was used to be a CPA. I used to have my certified fraud examiner license, and I was certified in financial forensics. I liked getting all those designations or whatever. But I got all that, and I used to investigate real estate Ponzi schemes, a lot of white collar crime stuff. I helped out with some drug investigations. I helped out with some cyber crime stuff. We would do the financial pieces of those investigations and work a lot with the FBI agents. So that was a lot of fun. I worked for the FBI for about 8 years. I did forensic accounting for some of that time. And then before that, I actually did kind of like budget analyst, financial analyst type work, working on budgets, forecasting. We had like a $5 billion payroll budget, and our job was basically make sure we don't run out of money and tell us how much money we have to hire people and all that fun stuff. So I was a big finance nerd and accountant for about 8 years before I got into drones and ultimately got into the online course world and learned about that, right? So if you even rewind even further, I wanted to be a pilot when I was growing up as a kid. I went to high school thinking I was going to be a pilot. When I went to college, I applied. I got into Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and Florida Institute of Technology. I'm pretty sure those are the only two places that I applied. Got in there. Some of them, both of those schools offered me scholarship money. FIT offered me a little bit more, so I went there. I think it was 2006, 2007. Went there. I got my pilot's license, and but decided I didn't want to be a pilot because I was actually kind of terrified of flying planes. I realized I'm kind of claustrophobic. And small planes crash more than large planes. I never crashed, but just little things would happen, like I turned left one time and I look over and there's fuel just spilling out of the wing. Like I guess the seal wasn't very good on the cap. Or one time we were coming to land and the door just popped open to the plane. Pop, 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 it's slamming around everywhere. Papers are flying. My flight instructor's like, it's fine, it's not a big deal. He just grabs the door, holds it shut. And I'm 18 years old, I'm flying. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. He's like, it's fine. I guess when he closed it, the latch didn't hook all the way. Sometimes I didn't have any digital navigation or any type of panels, all like old dials and stuff. This was, I think, pre-iPad, so we didn't really have a lot of that stuff. And I just thought at any moment I was basically gonna die. And it just stressed me out a lot. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a job where my feet are on the ground and I can not feel like there's a crash or impending doom coming around every corner. So that's when I transitioned. I went to Florida State University for finance and accounting, and we're working for the FBI. Ended up getting my master's degree in finance from Johns Hopkins, got my CPA license. So I was all Mr. Finance. But then while I was working at the FBI, I had a coworker who used to be in the Army, and had done stuff with drones. And he's like, David, have you seen these drones? And, he showed me some racing drones. And I was like, oh, well, that's really cool. Then I found out that you could do business stuff with them if you had a pilot's license. And I was like, well, I have a pilot's license. And so I started exploring that. I went down that rabbit hole, and it started with me helping other people do the paperwork process you needed to do with the FAA if you wanted to fly drones with a pilot's license. There was like this horrible paperwork process you had to do, and it wasn't very clear, but I had figured it out, and so I started helping other people. And I was charging for it, almost like kind of a consulting thing. But I had figured out how to do the right templates and where to submit it and how to track it and all that stuff. So people would pay me like $350, and I would do all the paperwork for them. I'd file it. I'd send them the tracking number and all that. And I just saw, wow, there's a lot of demand in the drone space. And so I ended up doing that. And then they ended up creating a whole test you had to take. So I created a test prep course for that. And then people would take that test. And then they'd be like, all right, well, now what do I do with my new drone license? And I was like, well, I don't know, let me find out. And so I would talk to people and figure out what opportunities there were, and then I would link up, or just ended up linking up with some people who knew about cinematography, photography, and other applications like drone mapping, modeling, 3D modeling, and surveying, and that kind of stuff. And so as I would just get to know more people in the industry, I'd find people with expertise. We'd end up becoming friends. I'd say, hey, you want to work together, do a course? And some of those relationships developed, and that's just kind of how the business ended up being built. But it all started with realizing, hey, this process kind of sucks. Let me see how I can figure this out or improve this and help people. Or, oh, hey, there's a test prep, there's a test, people need help with it. Or people would ask me questions. Hey, what do I do now? So as you discover more and more problems that your target customer has, it enables you to think of more options for creating new courses and solving those problems. So if you're a new course creator and you don't have a course yet, the best thing you can do is just talk to people in your audience about what their problems are, right? So the first year in business was really bad. I spent probably 6 months creating this course, and I probably spent 15 grand on editing and production and equipment and all this stuff, right? And I bought a drone to give away to get an email list, and I don't remember where I spent all my money. I bought stupid challenge coins for like $800. I was like, what a waste of money. I didn't need to do that, especially when I didn't have much budget. But I remember I almost spent all the money that I had made helping with consulting stuff, getting people registered for the FAA. Because at the time, I was a government accountant. I wasn't necessarily rolling in the dough. I think I had 3 kids at the time. So, I'd spent most of my money. And I remember towards the end, I ended up stopping doing videos because I didn't have any money left to pay the video editors to edit stuff. And I didn't know how to edit video. I was terrible at it. It would take forever. So, I was like, well, let's launch this, and I'm going to make a ton of money because people need to take this test. Obviously, they're going to buy my stuff. Obviously, they want what I have to offer. I got this email list of 4,000 people that I got from a drone giveaway. I'm going to send an email. Half of the people will open it. Half of those people will buy, and I'll charge $300, and I'm going to make tons of money. That did not happen. So I ended up going through all that process, thinking that I was good at email marketing. I sent out one email that was basically like, hey, here this is, buy this from me. I know you don't know who I am or what this, what I'm about. And I think 2 people bought for $99 after I discounted it. So I invested like 15, 20 grand. 2 people bought for $99. Pretty depressing. But I started digging in. That's when I started digging in and getting good at marketing, trying to figure out that world. I realized, okay, I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know how the online course space works. I need to know how digital marketing works. I need to know how to figure this out. So I started doing a lot of research. I listened to guys like Flynn and started reading books and going, ClickFunnels stuff. I don't use ClickFunnels a ton. We have in some of our funnels, but I started reading .com secrets, expert secrets, going to conferences, linking up with people. I joined a coaching group, which was really important for me. And then in 2018, I actually applied and got into Pat Flynn's first ever SPI Accelerator, right? So if you're in the passive income online course world, you might be familiar with Pat Flynn. But in 2018, I got into his online passive income, accelerator thing. And it was me, and I think it ended up being about 10 other people. And we spent a year with Pat Flynn, meeting up every other week on Zoom, and then twice in San Diego for a couple conferences, and then at a couple other workshops that he had. And man, I learned so much. My business grew a lot that year. I had started a podcast that's actually still going today. We're in season 5. We usually do about 1 season every year or so, and that's been a huge part of our business. Our online course sales have gone up, and I've been a part of other coaching groups since then, but we've continued to grow every year after year after year, and that's attributable to, I would say, always trying to push yourself, right? You got to keep learning, keep getting better, If you just stand still, you're going backwards, right? Because everything's always changing. And if you're not trying to improve your own skills, your own understanding of how you can help other people, how you can improve your value in the marketplace, how you can communicate better in your marketing, then you're not going to really grow like you want, right? If you're not growing like you want, you should look inward to say, hey, what skills can I develop to push myself forward, right? So joining Pat Flynn's group was a part of that. I think it was like $2,000 a month, which was a ton of money for me at the time. I had just quit my job. I quit my job. My last day at the FBI was April 28th or April 14th, I think, 2018. That was my day. I quit my full-time job. And I wore a lion suit to work on the last day of work. I love Chick-fil-A, so I showed up with a Chick-fil-A cup, and I was dressed as a lion, in a lion suit. That might sound random, but I'd actually gotten the lion suit in like a white elephant party at my FBI office that year, like a couple months earlier, and they were joking around. And once I said I quit, they knew I was leaving. They were joking around like, "Oh, you won't wear the lion suit to work on your last day." So I did it mostly just as a joke. I was there to kind of pick up my things and kind of wrap everything up for the last time. But I did get a picture with the lion suit on and my Chick-fil-A cup out in front of the FBI sign at the Lakeland FBI office. But right after that, I got into Pat's Accelerator group and spent that year. Grew a ton, and honestly, the people that I met, I still keep in touch with them, and we still help each other out. And I did that, and then I've done other coaching groups since then. So if you're like an online course, trying to get started in the online course world, and you're trying to figure out what's a good use of your time, investing in courses that you will actually take and improve yourself, right? So copywriting, any type of marketing, how to get your content up and going. Creating the content is one thing, but having it grow and having your audience grow is a completely other thing, and knowing how to sell to them and not be sleazy about it and actually help and all those things, right? So if you can invest in your own skills, that is a great use of your money. But what I was gonna say was all of that work I did in going from only selling 2 courses to then making it successful was investing in myself, learning, and now that course has done, I believe, let me look it up. Now that course has done over $2.5 million in revenue. So just this one course alone has made up about over half of our revenue in the entire time that I've had this school. And it's essentially the same content with the same videos. I mean, we've made updates as they've released new things and test on new questions, but literally the difference between $200 and $2.5 million was just learning how to communicate the value, how to market, how to build an audience, how to do all those things. It wasn't creating a better course. And that might be your answer. Maybe your product or course is bad or needs improvement or whatever, but a lot of times it's just learning how to do the hard work of building that audience and online business that you need. So that's what I'm gonna try to help you with on this channel. That is a little bit about me and my background. I hope you learned something. Click around if there's other videos here. I'm gonna try to do some lives, try to have some resources for you in the future. Right now I'm still in this business full time, so I'm gonna do my best about posting here as I'm able to. But thank you so much for joining me. Hope you get a lot out of this channel. See you later.